Good afternoon, and Aggie Pride. Before we get started, I just read an article about a young man, Chris Caldwell, who played on our 1999 national championship team, who needs a kidney, and that kind of hits home for me. And so somebody told me earlier, Aggie Pride is forever. So Chris, we're wishing you well, and we hope you get that kidney. Now, another exciting game for North Carolina A&T on the road. Unfortunately, we came up with a 37-30 loss at Maine. This week, we go up to William & Mary for another CAA game. Our special guest this week is defensive end Tim Alderman and our punt returner wide receiver Elijah Kennedy. Elijah had an exciting 85-yard punt return on Saturday, so we'll be excited to hear from him. But before we hear another word, let's bring up our head coach, Mr. Shawn Gibbs.
Good afternoon. Can everybody hear me? First, like always, I want to start off by thanking my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for all that he has done and all that he will continue to do. Another game where we were close and had a chance to win, but we came up short. Proud of the guys and the way they continue to fight. But, I'm tired of coming up close. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Not in football. So we have to find a way to win games like that. It was a tale of two halves. I think, the first half we gave up 30 points, couldn't stop a nosebleed. Then we came out in the second half and only gave up 7 and gave ourselves a chance to win the football game late in the game with a couple big defensive stops. But, explosive plays continue to haunt us. The inability to run the football, still a major concern, and we didn't win the kicking game. Even though we returned a punt for a touchdown, which was a great job by EK in the punt return unit, but we still gave up an 80-yard kickoff return that led to points and had a punt block, and statistics show that if you get a punt block, you're going to lose 90% of the time. But our coaches and players they're working hard to get this program where it should be. And we're not going to stop until we accomplish the mission. But coming from the bottom is hard. I knew when I took this job that it was going to be a tremendous challenge, but I really didn't understand, how bad it was. But to me, the main game kind of confirmed something for me. I think, number one, it confirmed that how powerful belief truly is. When our guys started believing that we could win the game, we made the plays that were crucial to get us back in the game, and they played with a lot of effort and intensity. But I also realized that non-belief is a force to be reckoned with. I don't believe personally that we've went into any game really believing that we were going to win. I think some of the games we were able to hang around, and then we started believing. But I don't believe that we've gone into any game knowing that we can win. Winning is hard. It's hard to do. But, that's what true competitors love about it. The work that's required to win is what drives successful people, successful companies, successful programs. Personally, I hate losing way more than I enjoy winning. After a win, I might enjoy it for a couple hours, and then I kind of move on to the next task at hand. But losses kind of stay with me forever. I don't ever allow a loss to hinder my preparation or affect my preparation. Instead, I kind of use it as motivation so that I don't ever have to feel that disgusting feeling again. But, losing is unacceptable. And to me, it's too many people in our program that have developed a tolerance for losing. I have zero tolerance for it. Got too many people that make excuses, blame external circumstances, talk about what we don't have, what we should have, how things used to be or how they should be. Something I wanted to share was last week in Bible study, our Pastor Harris, our team chaplain, Pastor Harris, said something that really resonated with me. And he was talking about how most people become too consumed with the enemy. An enemy could be your opponent or whatever challenge that you're facing in life. But the problem is never the enemy. The problem is the inner me. It's internal. And so our challenge is to get everybody involved in the program to ask themselves, am I doing everything that it takes to win? Am I doing my part? The will to win is not nearly as important as the will to prepare to win. That's it, and I'll open up the floor for any questions.
Coach, I know there are no moral victories at this point, but you had to be encouraged by your quarterback, Kevin White. He looked like he was, especially in the second half, he was poised, he stood in the pocket, he delivered the ball downfield. How do you assess his performance?
Well, I wouldn't say encouraged. That's my expectation. I've always believed since I first got here and watched that kid that he's a special quarterback, and he's still not 100%. And he hasn't even gotten close to what he can be. But what I like about Kevin is the way that he competes. He's a warrior. He's out there playing. He's not at 100%, but you watch him on the sideline. He's into the game. He's trying to encourage guys. He's trying to motivate guys, and that's what quarterbacks do. They're motivators. He's done a good job of managing the game. The thing that Kevin really needs to work on, and that's starts with Coach McGee, is really his fundamentals, because I'm sure he has. Well, I know he has a couple of throws that he wishes he had back, but that comes down to fundamentals, footwork, and things of that nature. So as he continues to improve with his fundamentals, his accuracy will improve, and then his athleticism can take over. But I think Kevin is a really good quarterback, and I'm excited about the future for him.
The way the running game is still kind of slow to get established, are you willing to take more chances with Kevin in the passing game, like take more shots downfield, just to get those splash plays, or do you want him to just kind of be a bit more conservative? I know he has a couple turnovers.
Well, we're gonna take what the defense gives us. Of course, we want to establish the run game, and that's what we got to do. If we can establish a run game, that makes him even more dangerous. When you have to load the box up, and now you can give him some single coverage, and we got the receivers that can make some plays. I think Javon Dillard. JD showed a glimpse of what he can be. He returned a punt for a touchdown, but he had over 200 yards total offense. So we got some guys that can make some plays, and we still haven't been able to show how good Monty Jones is and some other guys. So if we can run the football, that can make our offense even more explosive. But Kevin has done a good job of managing the game. And, if we can't run the football, then we have no choice but to open it up a little bit.
You mentioned the team struggling with a little bit of non-belief. What do you kind of think is needed to address a problem like that?
Honestly, if I knew that, I would fix it. So that's what I'm searching for. I've talked to the players, and I'm trying to figure out where that comes from, because it's not in me. I'm always going to – I have an unwavering belief in myself, in the coaches, in the team. So I can't relate to anybody not believing. I don't know where that comes from, but obviously it came from something and some past trauma, whether that be something in your life or the stuff we've had to deal with around here the past couple of years. But it has to be addressed. But like I said, we need to work on the inner me. So that's something that each and every person has to answer themselves. Why don't I believe? And then we got to try to figure out what we can do to make them believe. I think winning makes you believe. Success offensively or defensively, making plays makes you believe. But football's a game of peaks and valleys, highs and lows, and it's not always going to be good. So you have to believe in yourself through the good and the bad. So that's something that we're continuing to search for and try to figure out. But I think it starts internally.
How close is this team to kind of figuring that out?
So close. So close. Because we have a lot of guys that a lot of guys. Some of our Tim Alderman, EK, Kevin White, JD, a whole lot of guys, the Corian Sharp, a lot of guys that believe. But what I try to make the team understand is that we have to realize how important each and every one of us is. I look at the team like a car. You know, everybody sees the external part of the car, and everybody thinks the engine is what makes the car go. But that car ain't going nowhere without spark plugs. It can't go anywhere without the lug nuts. So everybody on the team matters, and we got to get everybody on the team buying in to their specific role and believing in it and being a star in their role. And then once we do that, you know, I think we can take off. You know, we've been in a lot of games. I personally don't believe, you know, and I've heard a lot of stuff about, you know, how good this conference is, and it is. But from a straight personnel standpoint and talent, we're not close to what we're going to be. But from what I've seen, I don't think anybody really overwhelmed us with talent. I don't think Tennessee State had better talent than us. Hampton, we know they didn't. North Carolina Central, a little bit, but it wasn't a big talent gap. In Maine, it was even, you know, from a talent perspective. So, you know, it's obviously something internal that we got to fix and get our guys believing that they can win. But we're super close. We're super close. But, you know, like I said, you know, we're coming from the bottom. So when you're coming from the bottom, it's hard to get guys to buy in to doing everything that's required to win, because winning is hard.
When you say belief, is it more of a feeling, or is there something tangible that you can see in your players that you know, like, oh, this guy, he believes?
100%. You can see it. Raven, you're an athlete. You know, you can look in your teammate's eyes and know if he believes. And really, belief is the wrong word. It's knowing. You know, we just use belief. But you can look at the guy's eyes next to you, or you can look before the game and look in somebody's eyes and see if they're ready to go. So, you know, that's what I look. I'm trying to look into your soul. You can lie, and, you know, you come in somebody came in our locker room before the game. Oh, they'd be in trouble. When they're in there listening to that NBA young boy, oh man, we tough. All right. But once the game starts, where does all that go? Where does all that go? You know, you got to play the game. When that guy in the white hat comes out there and he puts the ball down, it's time to go. Now, what are you going to do then? Then you can look in somebody's eyes. And if you see milk in their eyes, you know they're not ready. But when you see that fire that you'll see in people like EK's eyes, I looked in his eyes before the UCF game, and I said, oh, he's ready. No fear. But that's what we got to get in everybody on our team, no fear.
Coach, Antonio Massac's with the ANC registered, and there are 5 other teams in the CAA that also have a record of 1-1, similar to ANC. And that's a critical position to be in. So you talked about, like, the inner me. So what qualities really allow a team to be successful in a critical situation like this one rather than to fail?
Well, I think the first thing is, you said team. That's what we got to be. And what is a team? It's a group of guys that believe in each other, that pull for each other, that are fighting, everybody pulling in the same direction. And that's what we're trying to get. Once we get everybody pulling in the same direction and believing that we're capable of winning, which we are, and then doing all the things that's required from a fundamental standpoint and a technical standpoint and an effort standpoint, then we'll be okay. I had a cut up that I showed the team yesterday. We took about 11 plays that we showed of guys with just phenomenal effort, or guys doing what they're coached to do. And so when they look at those plays, now you can see, you got a visualization of what it takes to be successful. So the more plays we can get like that, the better we'll be. But it's too inconsistent, and it's too big of a difference between our good plays, our good players, and their backups. So we got to close that gap, and we got to start playing with more effort. You know, and we're going to demand the effort. But again, effort is something that's internal. That's something that's in you. That's something we got to get out of these guys. And if they'll play with effort and play with good fundamentals, we'll have a chance against, I believe, against anybody left on our schedule.
Let's talk about that last fourth quarter comeback. Get down to, I guess, one play, throw it towards the end zone. When you on a drive like that, what is the philosophy on spiking the ball, or calling timeouts? Because you did both in that last drive.
Right. Well, it depends on the amount of time left. I ended up calling a timeout with 11 seconds because I didn't want any more time to run off, and that would give us a chance to run 2 plays. You should be able to get 2 plays off in 11 seconds. So, you know, the first thing you're trying to do is spike the ball. If you can get a first down, spike it, save some time so you don't have to waste your timeout. So it's all about, making sure you're holding to those timeouts, not wasting any timeouts. And I think that's something we've done a good job of. We hadn't had a lot of times we've had to call a timeout unnecessarily because we didn't have somebody on the field or something crazy like that. So it came down, and I felt like we were still in a position to win. Of course, we had to call 2 timeouts defensively, so to even have a chance to get back in the game. But I think we managed it pretty good, and we just weren't able to hit down the stretch.
You have a reputation of being an aggressive coach. I'm not sure you're a riverboat gambler.
We were going for 2.
I was going to ask you that.
When EK scored, I told Coach McGee to get a 2-point play ready. Coming back from that deficit, we were going to go for 2. I mean, if we got it back where we scored, I believed that we were going to be able to win the game. So we were going to go for 2.
Coach, Stephen came to the HBCU game there. William and Mary up next. What do you know about them, and just the challenge that they present to you guys?
Good program, well coached. Coach London's got an FCS national championship. Big athletic team. Got a quarterback that causes problems. Anytime you face a dual threat quarterback, that's an issue. I don't know how much sleep Coach Jones is going to get this week. So we got to come up with a plan and make sure we keep our eyes on them, keep them accounted for, and maintain our rush lane integrity and keep the ball in front of us. But I'm really not going to change what I say. This week is no different than any other week for me, especially where we're at right now. Our main concern is taking North Carolina A&T off the schedule, and us coming up with a plan, not only where we can go out and execute our offense and defense and in the kicking game, but a plan where we can get these guys excited about the opportunity that we have. Nobody in the world believes that we can win this game. Nobody's expecting us to win this game. Who says we can't? So we got to prepare. We got to go up with the energy. Can't afford to start off slow. We can't give William and Mary 30 points or it's going to get ugly. We gotta wake up on Saturday morning ready to play and just go out there and play the game that we're capable of playing. And if we do that, I think we got a chance. And that's all you can ask for in life.
Last week, just kind of like last week, recruiting, obviously the 757 area, Williamsburg, just on the outskirts of that is a big part of what you guys do. You guys get out and check out.
Oh, yeah, we're going to be on the road. You'll see A&T at a couple games on Friday. So, that's a really rich area for talent. Some great players in this country and in this program have come from the 757, Richmond, and just the state of Virginia. So, yeah, Virginia's a border state for us, so we're definitely going to go out and attack it.
This was another game. It's another game where the offense that you were playing against had a splash play on the opening drive. I think the second play of the game, another long touchdown run. Are you seeing anything in film which maybe people are seeing something they can attack?
No, that was on us. That was on us. We didn't have a good call. If you watch the film, there was nobody there. So once he creased us, there was nobody there, and we can't do that. That was on us. We didn't have the right defense called, and they exploited it. Now the other ones, we gave up 81-yard touchdown to the running back. Same play we gave up against Central. Same play. A little smash on the outside with the running back running a seam route. Like, come on, man. Like, how many times we gonna get beat with that? So some of that stuff, when we make those mistakes, we got to make the adjustments and understand what's coming and be involved in the game and make sure we're communicating and understand what they can do to us based on the formation they're in. So that one was just both of those were unacceptable. That was unacceptable for us not to be in the right defense, and that was unacceptable for us not to give up that play again.
One constant you've had on defense has been your defense being Tim Alderman. He's a alternate transfer. What impact has he made for you guys, not only on the field, I guess maybe in the locker room too?
Well, I mean, if you come to practice, you see Tim Alderman gives you everything he's got in every period. That's who he is. That's who he was at Fort Valley, and that's why we were so lucky to get him up here. He's one of the better players in the CAA, one of the better players in FCS football, and I think he has a chance to play on Sundays. I think he will play on Sundays, but it's his work ethic. It's the person he is. It's the family that he comes from that makes Tim what he is.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you, and God bless.
He was just mentioned. He is 12th in the nation in tackles for loss, leads the conference in tackles for loss, and also second in the conference in sacks. Ladies and gentlemen, our defensive end, Tim Alderman.
Good afternoon. I'm Tim Alderman, senior. My major is environmental health and safety. Aggie Pride. Aggie Pride. I will now open the floor for questions.
Yeah, I'll just ask you. So talk about obviously your relationship with Coach Gibbs and following him from Fort Valley State to here.
Yes, Coach Gibbs was my coach at Fort Valley. He was. I trust him at Fort Valley. He's a great coach, so I always believe in everything he coaches and preaches. We had winning seasons at Fort Valley, so I trusted that coming up here too, and I still believe in him.
I mean, obviously, you've done great. How has the transition been for you from going from Division II to Division I, as far as the athletes you're going up against and the success you're having? I'm sure it's not a surprise to you.
The transition has been smooth. My coaches, I got great coaches, great teammates, so they pretty much make everything easier for me. They believe in me, and I believe in them, so everything has been smooth.
After giving up that big first half against Wayne, you guys kind of found some answers. What adjustments did you guys make at halftime?
We just kind of realized everyone has to do that 111. We got to execute our job, everybody. So we realized we wasn't doing that at first, and we got people to realize, like, we're here to compete. The game is not over. So once we realized that, everybody realized we were still in the game. We went out, made stops, and we came up short, but we fought.
Even though you were, I guess, as an edge rusher, your job is a lot to put pressure on the quarterback, but you also are good at stopping the run. You're a lot stronger, I guess, than some people might think.
Yes, sir.
How would you, I guess, your overall game help you describe that?
I'd say I can't be one-sided. I can't just be a pass rusher and not stop the run and not stop the pass. It got to be complete. So I just feel like I could do both. I'm coached to do it, so they believe in me. I was coached to do it.
Are you seeing a lot of double teams now?
Yeah, I see double teams, but I can't let that stop me or complain about it or anything. It's football, so we're all men at the end of the day. We got to play football.
Fans who might be seeing the records 1-3 and some of the losses, what's your message to them on why they still should believe and think you guys can turn around?
We got a long season ahead of us. We've had some close games, but close isn't good enough. But we realize we just got to come out, start fast, finish strong. We can't just finish strong, but we got a long season ahead. We can compete with anybody on our schedule. We just got to do our job, and we're going to do it.
Tim? Appreciate it, Tim.
Thank you.
Two of the top 3 punt returners in the CAA are Aggies. Number 1 on that list is Elijah Kennedy. Ladies and gentlemen, Elijah Kennedy.
Hey everyone, my name is Elijah Kennedy. I'm redshirt junior studying data analytics, and I want to thank all y'all for coming out, and I'll open up the floor for any questions.
Over the last couple of years, how do you stay so patient, just waiting your turn and being, I guess, ready when your number was called? I know the last couple of years you've been kind of on the depth chart, but this year you're going to be a focal point.
I just love football. I love competing. I love being on the field. And I knew my time was coming. I just trusted God and stayed in the right places, work hard, and my time ultimately came.
Coach has been pretty transparent about just, trying to get people to believe and buy in and everything like that. As someone who's been on the team the last couple of years, how do you feel like the team is adjusting to the challenges that he's put to you guys, and how do you guys continue to try to build that belief to the folks who are still trying to get there?
I feel like Coach Gibbs has done a great job at coming in and leading us and showing us the way and showing us how to be men at the end of the day. And like, it's just, the belief is there. Like, he's created such an environment for us to be able to, follow. And, I just believe.
Coach said that he didn't see in you that you believe that you have that fearlessness in you. What kind of goes into your preparation so that you can step on the field with that type of mindset?
Going out every day at practice and getting out there early, preparing my body to do what I needed to do, attacking each period with the same mentality every single day, going hard and getting all my guys ready to go, leading by example, things of that nature.
You mentioned leading by examples. Like, what are some things that you try to do, like whether it be during game, whether it be during practice, to try to get everybody to believe the way that you do?
Just going hard during practice, going hard every period, and then when it comes to games, whenever we see things are not going our way, just going individually and picking somebody up or telling them like we're in the game, like we can go, like it's time to go.
And returning punt seems like one of the scariest things to do in life. So can you give us a mental walkthrough of that play where you called it and went for a touchdown?
It just came down to practice. Like, we practiced it a lot, and like, I've seen that punt plenty of times, and it came off the foot. I caught it. My whole team, the whole unit, they were in place. What we practiced came into fruition, and once I seen the hole, I hit it, and my teammates seen me in the end zone.
You also seem to have built a chemistry with Kevin White. Can you speak about his performance the last couple of weeks?
I feel like Kevin, he's a great quarterback. He's been working just like me to be who he is, and I mean, he's an amazing athlete. So that's just who he is.
Anything else for Elijah? Thank you, Elijah. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, now it's time for our transition. We'll transition to our internet show. As always, please partake in our refreshments in the back, and we should be ready in about 5 or 10 minutes. Thank you.